Hi, my name is Phil and I am CTO at Third Foundation, where we deliver AI for modern marketers. Today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that comes up quite a lot. We talk to a lot of businesses all around the world who are struggling with a very similar problem. And the problem is this: they have a real desire, an appetite to create change towards putting AI in place, but despite that appetite, they really struggle to start the transformation off and to make meaningful progress towards rebuilding their data strategy and getting AI in place. Why is that, and why is it such a common issue? Well, when we look at this problem, we deal with it firstly in a two-pronged way. So we, of course, look at the technology, and the technology is a large part of that, but we also look at the culture of the business. And one of the things we've seen come up time and time again is you need that culture across the whole business, across all stakeholders who need to be involved in AI. And that is, every stakeholder really at a senior level needs to be involved with AI in order to drive transformation. Otherwise, transformation doesn't happen. And that's the unfortunate truth. So when we start a journey with any business, we want to create that transformational journey through a change in culture and helping people realize through education and practical endeavor that AI is worthwhile, that it may be difficult to implement, but those difficulties are no more difficult than any other problem that you will face in business. So we have a starting point that we call Amy, which is our index for AI, and it asks lots of different questions about technology and culture that is currently within a business, so that we can kind of evaluate where people are on that path when we start working with them. So big takeaway there: work on the culture as well as the technology, and realize that that's going to happen. Have that present in your mind when you start that journey. So the other part then, the technology. What are the technical restrictions towards moving towards AI, I suppose? Well, firstly, you need to be really adaptable, and you need a data structure that is going to be very adaptable. So a lot of companies we have seen implement data warehouses in the past, and quite often what happens is they put a data warehouse in place which suited the purpose at the time, but by the time that has been implemented, it's no longer fit for purpose. And they end up actually with multiple silos of data, multiple data warehouses. And what they really need to do is to build a data lake, connect those different data sources, and then build transformation over the top of that data lake. Because what that means is, if you want to look at your existing data sets in a different way, you can just build a new transformation instead of having to re-architect your entire data warehouse and data pipelines from that. And that is really a big difference between the approach that we are taking and other companies are taking now with data structure. And it lets you be a lot more adaptable out of the gates. We also see an attempt to work like you are working with the data warehouse, which is to try and take every pot of data you can possibly take, build it all into the data lake straight away in the first instance. And that is, it's a noble goal, but it's needless a lot of the time. What you should do is you should try and figure out, where is 80% of our most important data? Where is the data that's really going to make a difference? And prioritize your data sources and your data silos. Move them into your data lake one at a time, or do 2 or 3 in the first instance, and then one at a time thereafter, perhaps. It lets you run multiple work streams. It lets you figure out when on your roadmap you're going to get certain gains and improvements, and even figure out if maybe one of those data silos in the long term would not be worth moving into your data lake. That can happen. And to be realistic about it in that way is worthwhile. So once you have those two parts connected, your technology and your culture, and a big part of that culture being the willingness that we talked about at the start, the appetite to want to implement AI and to see that change. The other big thing that I would talk about is getting the data to the right place in front of the right people at the right time. So we see a lot of cases, particularly in marketing, where the data almost arrives too late. People are used to a monthly report or even quarterly reports. They need the data though to make a decision right now. They need to be able to ask a question of the data right now. And you'll see in Google's products, BigQuery ML and Google Sheets, you can now actually interrogate and ask straightforward English language questions of your data immediately. As soon as it's in that data source, you can ask that question. What is my conversion rate in Leeds as opposed to anywhere else in the country? And you'll get an answer straight back. And it's that kind of real-time feeding of information that's becoming increasingly important. There's no point to building 100 dashboards if there are too many dashboards to check. What you're really trying to do is ask a question and have it answered. So everything we're doing, we're thinking very much in that vein as well, having the right data in front of the right people at the right time and building different tools for those different people. So it's not just dashboards, sometimes it's reports delivered by email. We do a lot of work with our notebooks. So notebooks like Jupyter Notebook enable you to work in the cloud as a data analyst and interrogate data in a lot more detail, and then to spit out a PDF report, if you like, with graphs and visualization that is useful at a moment in time. So if you have a specific event coming up, or if you want to do a one-off piece of analysis, notebooks are great for that, and I encourage you to look into them. I think that's probably enough for today, but if you have any questions about anything I've talked about today, please leave us a comment or get in touch on our website or email us at info@third.foundation. Thanks very much for your time.